is that this is part of part one, okay? Part one is acknowledging what they are. Part two is walking them, okay? And using them. Part two is using. And the reason why I say using is because the thing is that once you start realizing what they are and then you start using them, the path starts to lay itself out. Because in the usage, the path aligns, or the path unfolds, okay? So after my ascension, or for those of you that may not be on an ascension, but I would put money on the fact that a lot of you listening to me are ascending as we speak. You'll notice that once you figure out what your gifts are, right? And maybe you have changed out of careers. Maybe you're deciding to get a second job. Maybe you're deciding to get a hobby. Maybe it's some type of pursuit that you want to go after in this point in time of life. You may be using these skills at that time, or using these God-given gifts for this second whatever that you've got going on. But what I will say is that because you're utilizing these gifts once again in your life, a path will unfold. So maybe your second gig may be the path, and then you'll shift everything into that main path, if you get what I mean. As you use them, you'll notice that you get what I would call a third situation, whereas time release gifts start to happen. The great thing about using your gifts for whatever may have you, okay, is that you'll notice that once you're starting to follow that path, you'll notice that your chakras automatically start to come on. And for myself, I would say like my third eye, my throat, my sacral, these were all ones that I had never really used in my past life a lot. Okay, because the sacral controls creativity. Until I started doing these like YouTube videos and Instagram posts and all that, I wasn't really creative. A lot of journaling, a lot of writing started coming and flowing out of me. So my sacral was finally being utilized once I started doing this. My throat finally came on as well. And then also my third eye, which helps me in my day-to-day. But I would have to say that this is a process. You have to start using them first, and then you'll start to see like your secondary options open up, or they become your primary option. And then you'll notice as time goes on, you release more gifts. My sacral, right, as I started opening up that cavern of chakra, I became more creative. So my creativity skyrocketed. I mean, in the sense of me being able to create things. I was usually a very cerebral person. I thought very direct and guided and, A plus B plus C equals D type logic. Now to have this kind of creative side of me, or feminine side of me, come out, this is different. So what I will say is that you yourself, and I'm using myself, this is going to be different for all of you, okay? All of you are going to see that there's newer gifts that shape once you get comfortable with this part of it. Okay, it's time released. Then also, like I said the first one was my creativity that I noticed started formulating, and I never had that before. Second was my channeling. Okay. You guys, once my throat came on, my ears came on. If you guys don't know, your ears are interconnected with your throat chakra. So if you are somebody who's developing auditory or clairaudience skills, your throat coming on will be very useful for that. But what also happened after a certain period of time, after the channeling I began, and I'm saying this took 3 months to a year to develop before I actually felt comfortable in this gift. You know what I mean? And the same with the creativity. It took me about a year, so I'm trying to give you guys an understanding. This doesn't just happen overnight. And then lastly, the last one I noticed that just kicked in, I would say maybe 6 months ago, was the ability to sing. I never could sing. I mean, I could never hold a tune. And now I can sing. And I know it has to do with my throat chakra, but the elements of the throat chakra have developed even further. And what I would say is that at this point in time, I don't know what the singing voice is for, but I utilize it, I use it, I do what I need to do, and I continue using it, because anything that is time released, or anything that we receive or that gets unlocked, some people would say that they're generationally unlocking through our DNA encodement from our astral genealogy. I don't know if you subscribe to that, but that's another way of looking at it. Or your ancestral gifts, you could put it that way. These were endowments through your genetics that you would receive. If you're not all about that, then maybe this isn't the type of talk you can handle. Just shut me off now. But so I was able to sing. I'm not a bad singer. I can sing pretty well now. I do have to harness it. I do have to take classes for it. I do need to realize, but I've got the raw materials, let's say now. But the thing is that I have to keep using it, because right now I'm in the 6 month mark, right? And I know that it may take me a year or two to figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. So you don't know how your time released gifts are going to play into the larger scheme of your path, but maybe down the road, this is something I'm going to need. and I don't know it yet. I can't foresee it yet, but that's why it's like certain gifts are being released at time. Another thing I noticed, time release wise, was my ability to manifest. Because it's like the more I spent with the transmuting, right? I noticed that the next level to the transmutation was my manifestation capabilities. Now, everybody might come at me and be like, oh, then why don't you have $1 billion home, this, that, the other thing. When you live in the eternal now, okay, if you really want to learn how to manifest, you have to do active work to manifest. So what I'm preparing for now, it's like a bird creating a nest, okay? The bird in the previous season has to collect all those little twigs in order to have that beautiful nest. That's how manifestation works too. It's not that you just sit and wait and visualize and wait and wait and wait. No, you actively have to be moving in the eternal now to get your later dated or sooner dated manifestations. Manifestations can be small, medium, large size. Well, what I'm trying to say is that the capability that I'm now developing stronger and stronger, because I've been able to manifest something in, the first 20 minutes. I've been able to manifest something in the first hour, like so forth and so forth. The larger projects I have, they may take some more time, but that's because I have to do the footwork too. And that's the thing about manifestation. Like, there are persons that I've heard of that can do these amazing things. None of it's provable because I haven't seen the... a lot of people are like, oh yes, I manifested $1 million. Well, where's the $1 million? You know what I mean? Where's your mansion? Where's your cars? Where's your whatever? You know what I mean? Who's to say you didn't have that before? So from what I've ever seen in my life, I've never seen anybody that says they manifest everything, because if they did, they wouldn't be online. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not here to teach you how to manifest. I'm just trying to explain that as time goes on, I've developed a little bit of wisdom when it comes to manifestation, because the things that I've wanted are happening, pace by pace by pace by pace. And these are things that, 2 years ago I didn't think were possible. So what I'm trying to say is that the time release gifts you have will be ongoingly being developed as well, but it's being available to them. It's being able to notice what they are. It's being able to harness what they are and what they provide. That makes all the difference. So what I would say to you, if you are somebody who does not know what their path is, start with number 1, figure out what those gifts were that you were innately given by God or by source or by your creator, whichever way you want to put it, and then start using them and give it time. Time releasing takes time, okay? And as that unfolds, hit me up. Let me know how it's going for you, because realistically, you've spent, 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, whatever the case may be, not knowing what to do. Here's my method of knowing what to do, and I hope that helps. So, love you guys lots. If you guys have any questions, feel free. If you need a channeling session, you can find me at www.uphighhealing.com. I can walk you through an experience with your higher self and your higher intuition. And at the same time, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Love you lots. Have a good day. Bye for now.